And we're back on Pittsburgh Sports Live for round 7 of the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff, powered by our friends at Burgatory Bar. I'm your host and quizmaster, Matt Gajtka, and here's how the Faceoff works. A sports media pro from the Pittsburgh Sports Now family squares off against a fan challenger, and they'll both take a swing at my lineup of 11 Pittsburgh sports trivia questions. If this week's Joe beats the pro, he'll receive a $25 gift card from Pittsburgh's own Burgatory Bar, now with 7 locations in the region. Visit burgatorybar.com for more info on how it's handling the COVID green light now in Allegheny County. Okay, let's meet this week's competitors. This week's pro is from Pittsburgh Hockey Now. She's been there for a couple of years, helping Dan Kingerski get the word out on the Penguins. Please welcome veteran sports writer from the Pittsburgh area, Shelly Anderson. Shelly's a Missouri native, as you see there with her Mizzou hat. She's an alum of the university, but she's covered Pittsburgh sports and Penguins hockey in particular for nearly 4 decades. Shelly, the pressure's on. Dan Kingerski lost in episode 3, so you've got to make up and get PHN back to 500.
Oh,
I think
I'll see what I can do. I can see if I can hold up my end of the deal here.
I think you have the requisite knowledge. Like I told the audience here, you may not be a native Pittsburgher, but you might as well be at this point. Okay, here is a native Pittsburgher to challenge you. Let's give a Pittsburgh Sports Live welcome to our challenger, Adam Marco. Adam is from Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, a Kiski area high school alum who went to Mercyhurst University up in Erie, and he's still in Pennsylvania on the northeast quadrant of PA. Right now, he is a play-by-play broadcaster and has a front office role with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders of AAA baseball. Adam, you've been waiting for some competition, for some action here this spring and now into the summer. So this time, you're in the batter's box, though. You're not calling the action. You're the one competing.
I'm not ready for this.
I'm happy to the honesty.
Play along and have some fun.
All right. Okay, so there are the competitors, and here are the face-off rules. We'll start with a series of 5 questions worth 1 point each, then 5 worth 2 points each, then a special final face-off question on which our competitors can wager as much of their point total as they wish. Just think about Final Jeopardy. It's just like that. This is also important. The competitors will say their name to buzz in after I finish the question. So I have to finish the question first, and then either Shelly or Adam will buzz in by saying Shelly or Adam, and I'll be the judge on that, who goes first. Tie goes to the challenger, so Adam has the built-in advantage today. Okay, let's get it started. If everyone's ready to go, let's start with those 1-point questions. And our leadoff question comes to us from the face-off ghostwriter himself, Larry Snyder. This is Pirates baseball. In 2019, in his final season as a Bucco, Starling Marte pulled off a 20-20-20 season. And by that, I mean 20 homers, 20 doubles, and 20 walks. He also led the Pirates in another offensive category, 17 hit by pitches. That's impressive and painful, but still well shy of the 23 posted by this Pirate in 2017. Shelly Anderson.
Josh, I blanked. The second baseman, Josh.
I'll give it to you. Second baseman named Josh Harrison. That is correct.
Harrison, my goodness.
You know what's weird about that season? I was looking back. I thought, yeah, Josh was hanging over the plate quite a bit during his career here. He never had more than 7 in any other season, but he had 23 in 2017. Remember him getting ticked off. And Shelly, you also cover the Pirates, so I'm sure you remember part of that.
A little bit. I can't remember if I was doing a whole lot that season or not. I do a little bit of game work for them for a little website, a little wire service.
So, okay, you're on the board regardless of how you have that knowledge. Shelly Anderson has the 1-point lead in round 7 of the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff. So, yeah, and no Pirates come close to the 23 that Josh had in recent memory. Let's go to football now. Question 2. From 2001 through 2005, the Steelers and GM Kevin Colbert used the first round of the NFL draft to build the foundation for their return to glory in Super Bowl 40. 4 of the 5 first-round picks from 01 to 05 went on to at least make 1 Pro Bowl. Casey Hampton in 2001, Troy Polamalu in 2003, Ben Roethlisberger in 2004, and which pass catcher in 2005? 5 seconds.
Shelly, I'll take a stab at it.
All right, Shelly, go ahead.
Santonio Holmes.
No, incorrect. Adam, no real downside here to taking a stab at this one.
Mike Wallace.
No, not Mike Wallace. I said pass catcher, not wide receiver. I left it open because it was a tight end. It was Heath Miller. Heath Miller from the University of Virginia. All right, question number 3. So we've done baseball, we've done football. Let's do some hockey. This defenseman played against the Penguins in one of the most heartbreaking games in Pittsburgh sports history, Game 7 of the 1993 Patrick Division Finals, when the Islanders ended the three-peat dream for the Pens. This player also scored a sudden death goal for the Penguins in one of the most thrilling winner-take-all games in team history. Who is this player? Five seconds.
Yeah, he played for the Penguins also.
Anyone want to take a guess? Nope. Okay.
Shelly, Darius Kasparaitis.
That is correct. Yes, Darius Kasparaitis. You got
I
it.
just took a second for the brain to start working. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that came out of nowhere. You seemed totally stumped. And then, yeah, people forget that Darius played for the Islanders at the start of his career and was part of that team that upset the Pens in '93. And then the goal he scored, of course, was against Dominik Hasek in Game 7 of the second round in 2001. I got Mario Lemieux back to the conference finals in his comeback season. So unlikely hero, to say the least, in that moment. So Shelly leads it 2-0 after 3 rounds. 2 more questions to go in the 1-point round. Let's talk coaching now. Mike Tomlin's rise through the coaching ranks in football was quick after he finished playing at William & Mary. He went from wide receivers coach at VMI all the way to bench boss of the Steelers in just 12 years, with 5 stops in between. He was the Vikings defensive coordinator when the Steelers hired him in 2007, but prior to that, he spent 5 years as defensive backs coach for this NFL team for which a famous defensive formation is named.
Adam
Marco.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the formation is the Tampa 2. Lovie Smith espoused that, and he helped Mike Tomlin get his feet wet in the NFL as an assistant coach, and there you go. He took that to Pittsburgh. He's made some modifications and made some adjustments since then, but yeah, he was known for the Tampa 2. Adam Marco gets on the board. It's 2-1. Shelly still leads with 1 question to go in round 1. College sports now. News came out this week that the Robert Morris Athletic Department is changing conferences for the 2020-2021 academic year, jumping up a couple of mid-major pegs to the Horizon League. But Bobby Moe's been in the same conference for nearly 40 years, a league that was founded in 1981. Which league is it?
Shelly, Northeast Conference.
Shelly Anderson, yes, you got it. I was wondering how closely either of you paid attention to Robert Morris, and you're right on the money there. Have you covered any RMU events?
I covered some basketball many years ago, but they were still in the Northeast Conference then because it's done forever.
Yeah, I had no idea. I worked in the athletic department. I had no idea the NEC was around for that long. So, yeah, founding member, and now they'll be moving on to the Horizon League. Okay, so we are through 5 rounds, and the score is 3-1, Shelly over Adam. But now it gets more interesting. The 2-pointers start up. And we'll start the 2-pointers with a trip on the Wayback Machine as it pertains to pucks. And this comes from past Faceoff competitor Dave Gormley. So, Dave, thank you for chiming in and contributing here. On October 21st, 1967, in their first month as an active National Hockey League franchise, the Penguins defeated the Blackhawks 4-2 at the Civic Arena. It was just their second ever victory. Assistant captain Ken Schinkel scored 3 times for the team's first hat trick, but the Pens made league history that night too. What was the significance of the win against the Blackhawks?
First win against Shelly.
Shelly, go ahead, yes.
First win against an original 16.
That is right. So 2 more points to Shelly Anderson. That gives you a total of 5, and it's a big lead now. Couple of answers away is Adam Marco from tying it, but he's got some work to do here. And it took about 2 weeks for an expansion team to beat an original 6 team. Back then, 6 new teams came into the league, for those who don't know, and they were in their own division, but of course there was plenty of cross-division matchups there. Okay, back to college for question number 7. You might have seen the news that former Pitt coach Johnny Majors passed away this month at the age of 85. Majors led Pitt to the 1976 National Championship and was named NCAA Coach of the Year before moving on. And then Majors returned to campus for a 4-season stint in the 1990s too. In between, he coached 16 seasons at his alma mater, this SEC school.
Shelly.
I heard Adam first.
Tennessee.
Tennessee is correct. And, of course, tie goes to the challenger anyway, but I thought I heard Adam just slightly ahead of you, Shelly, there. Did you know that one?
Yes.
Okay, so you both had it. Not as difficult as I might have thought. I did not know that, though. But Johnny Majors, a legendary player first at Tennessee, and then 3 SEC titles and 1 SEC Coach of the Year honor with the Vols. We're coming back to Pitt. So it is 5-3. Adam creeps back into it. The Pirates haven't been known for their pitching talent over the years. Only one Hall of Fame hurler spent the majority of his career with the team, and that was Babe Adams, who retired in 1926. Still, even taking that into account, it's remarkable. The Pirates haven't had a 20-game winner since the division-winning season of 1991, when this man won 20 games. Adam Marco.
Two choices. Doug Draper.
Not Doug Drabeck. You would have thought it was him, but it was not. Shelly, a chance to steal this one.
Smiley?
Yes, John Smiley is correct. 2 more points.
I also thought it was one of those two, so thanks for eliminating one for me, Adam.
Yeah, John Smiley. Adam, I believe it was the year previous that Doug Drabeck won 20. And so John Smiley, 20-8 in 1991, traded immediately after that. He finished 3rd in Cy Young voting, traded for Denny Nagel and Midre Cummings, and then Smiley hit free agency the year after and caught on with the Reds and had a couple of pretty good seasons with them too. Okay, so it is 7-3. Shelly over Adam. Still a long way to go, though, including our final face-off, so plenty of variability here. The Steelers are well known for their stability at the coaching position, but the same could also be said for the men who snap the ball. Over the past 31 seasons, the Steelers have had just 5 starting centers, with 3 players covering 28 of those 31 seasons. Who was the perennial Pro Bowler who got this run going, playing from 1988 to 2000? Adam Marco.
Dermontti Dawson.
Dermontti Dawson is right. We got an all-star competition here tonight, speaking of Pro Bowls and all that. 7-5, Shelly over Adam. It's a high-scoring shootout, and with just 1 2-point question to go. Loving it. It's going to come down to the end once again. That's what we like to see. Now's the time when I have some fun, though. The Pittsburgh Pipers were our city's entry in the fledgling American Basketball Association. Led by league MVP Connie Hawkins, the Pipers won the 1968 ABA championship. But then they left for Minnesota just the next season. The franchise then came back to Pittsburgh in 1969, follow if you can, and they wanted a name change. But they were denied their selection because a local university had the same nickname for its sports teams. Which school blocked the Pipers' name change? Adam Marco, go for it.
The Dukes.
It was not Duquesne. Shelly, you want to give it a shot?
Panthers?
No, not them either. It's the Point Park Pioneers. They wanted to be the Pittsburgh Pioneers. So we'll keep it at 7-5 going into the final face-off. And I know I learned something. I'm sure you two did there as well. So did our viewers. That one also came from Dave Gormley. So he's definitely in the old-timers bracket here. He's making us think and go back into Wikipedia. All right, so it's 7-5, and I asked the competitors to bring a pen and paper here for the final face-off. I'll give you the category, and then you'll write down your wager, and then I'll give the question. The category for the final face-off is respect your elders. Respect your elders. And go ahead and place your wagers. Again, it's Shelly with 7 and Adam with 5. All set? Okay, great. Here we go. Here's the question. In 2007, the Penguins returned to the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time in 6 years, starting a run of now 14 consecutive postseason berths and counting for Sidney Crosby and Yevgeny Malkin. Back then, though, in an attempt to balance out a team full of fleet-footed youth, GM Ray Shero acquired 2 rugged veteran wingers at the trade deadline. One was 30 years old and arrived from the Coyotes, and the other was 40 and came from the Panthers. To win your points, players, you have to name both of those veteran wingers who came over at the 2007 trade deadline, and you have 20 seconds. One 30-year-old from the Coyotes, one 40-year-old from the Panthers. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and pens down. Heads up. Adam Marco, you trailed 7-5 going into the final face-off. What was your wager here?
I wagered 4.
Wagered 4?
I only guessed 1.
You only guessed 1. Okay, so you're going to drop to 1. I saw Chris Kunitz on there?
Yeah.
Okay. I will not reveal the answer just yet. I want to see what Shelly came up with. What did you wager, Shelly?
Wagered also 1 point.
Okay.
I only came up with one name, Zdeněk Mihajlovic.
No, Zdeněk Mihajlovic was a defenseman. The two players that came over in 2007, the 30-year-old from Phoenix was Georges Laraque, meant to add some toughness to the team. And the 40-year-old was the one, the only, the fitness maven himself, Gary Roberts. So Laraque and Roberts added some punch, maybe in a couple of different ways, to the Penguins in 2007. Okay, so the final face-off continues to stump, but it doesn't matter because Shelly Anderson comes out on top due to her performance in the first 10 questions. Shelly, congratulations. Had the hockey one at the end. Didn't come up with that one, but a really solid effort through the first 10.
See, I knew it wasn't Kunitz, and it wasn't the year that they brought in Guerin and Kunitz, so I was trying to think back years before that.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Adam. Worthy opponent.
All right, would you consider yourself a trivia mind yourself, Shelly, or is that something that just comes with the job, maybe?
No, it kind of comes with the job. I don't have one of those still. I'm not one of those walking sports encyclopedias. I can't spit out statistics from 10 years ago. There's some things that I retain a lot better than others, and I tend to mix up years. So when, like, for instance, when you said 07, I had to really think, okay, that's 2 years before they won the cup, and that really, like Kasperitis, I had to really think back to that time frame. I'm just not one of those steel trap minds with trivia.
Adam, how about you? Because you're on the air for multiple hours a night during baseball season. So where would you rank yourself among the folks who are really devoted to this sort of thing?
I find that my useless trivia knowledge is somewhat better than my sports trivia, and maybe music trivia is also in that mix. We have the luxury of the internet at our fingertips and iPads, and if I can think about something and I start a sentence while my color commentator's talking, I can probably find the answer before it looks like I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I've noticed that, especially Joe Block here in Pittsburgh, he's picked up on that too. He always has his iPad out. It's definitely a different frontier for play-by-play broadcasters these days, especially in baseball, right? Because you have some time.
You really do, and it's a joy that I've had for the last 13 years and missing it right now. And can't wait to that time, whether it's this year, next year, whenever it might be, that we get back to a ballpark.
Well, Adam, it was great to have you, and I'm glad we could give you some action here. It's not quite the usual game time, but close enough. We're recording this at 6 o'clock, so at least for one night, you got the juices flowing. Thanks again. We really appreciate it.
Shelly, congratulations on the win. Matt, I had fun. Thanks for having me on.
Well, great. I'm glad that you had fun. I always have fun hosting these. I have fun writing them as well. And if you have any submissions, if you're out there watching, as I just mentioned during the show, 3 of those questions were submitted. One by my friend Larry Snyder, but a couple by a past competitor, Dave Gormley, who actually beat Dan Kingerski in round 3 of this one. So, Shelly, you strike back for Pittsburgh hockey now 1-1 as an entity here on the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff. Thank you for joining us, too.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so you can find all the past episodes for the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff on Pittsburgh Sports Live. It's our YouTube channel. Just search that on the platform or the app. And also, if you want to play, we still have a couple more spots left before the end of June. I'll be recording through the end of the month. So just get at me at the email address that I'm flashing on the screen right now, matt.gajtka. My last name's hard to spell, so I spelled it out there for you. And you can also find me on Twitter at Matt Gajtka, too, so you can DM me as well. All right, thank you so much for watching. For Shelly Anderson of Pittsburgh Hockey Now, for Adam Marco of Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the Rail Riders, this has been Matt Gajtka saying good night and great game. We'll talk to you next time on the Pittsburgh Sports Faceoff.